My name is Marlene Chism, and I'm the author of 2 books, actually. My first book is titled Success is a Given, and the subtitle is Reading the Signs While Reinventing Your Life. And it truly is about my journey of reinvention. And the reason people resonate so much with it is that I talk about the signs that what you want in life also wants you back, and the signs that we go through when we're ready to make a shift and a change. In fact, when people say, I just wish I had a sign, I wish I had a sign, I'm so unhappy, I say that unhappiness is your sign. That's your sign that you're ready to reinvent, you're ready for an elevation, you're ready for something new. And that's true in your personal life as much as it is in your work life. My second book was published with Wiley & Sons, a commercial publisher. The title of the book is Stop Workplace Drama, Train Your Team to Have No Complaints, No Excuses, and No Regrets. And very universal principles. There's 8 main chapters. And when people call me, it's because I'm speaking to them just like I'm talking to you right now. It's not academic. There are some corporate examples of big companies, but there's also many rich personal examples that help people to understand that unique connection between your personal drama and your workplace drama. As an enlightened leader, we have the opportunity to see employees differently. If we would start looking them as a bundle of gifts and talents, it would change the way we relate to them, and it would change our levels of promoting engagement. You see, a lot of people don't know this about me, but before doing what I do now, I worked for a Fortune 500 company. But I was not an executive, I wasn't in human resources, and I wasn't a manager. I was actually a blue-collar worker at Kraft Foods, and I did everything from production on the lines, packing cheese, to stacking skids, to driving a forklift, to tearing down equipment for sanitation on Friday nights. And I went through what I often refer to as the life purpose drama. I wanted something more, but I didn't know what it was. And in that search, I tried a lot of things. I didn't yet have a college degree, and I started kind of attending some classes, and I started looking for ways to discover what my gifts and talents were. And during that time, I also got into something that was that I could be successful at, and that was competitive bodybuilding. And I won a state title several times and went to nationals. And I was good at that, but it wasn't a life purpose, it was a hobby. So in that experimenting phase, I started looking back at what I was good at in high school. And I enjoyed putting presentations together. I enjoyed speaking, and I went to state in the speech and debate. And so I started looking for ways that I could try that out at Kraft, and an opportunity arose to where they were asking for volunteers to be on committees and to do certain things. And the opportunity that came up for me was to deliver a safety presentation. Now, if you've ever been involved in an OSHA safety presentation, you know that there's nothing more dry or boring in the world. But one of my talents is making the complex simple and to make the mundane interesting. And so I volunteered. So now you see I have interest, and I'm getting ready to be involved. And I was involved not because I wanted to impress management, but because I wanted to develop myself. So I got the agreement with management, and I found out, that they would be okay with me giving away products like some blue box macaroni and cheese and some t-shirts, and they would let me role play and have some props. So I'm really, really involved, and I'm also invested. The reason I'm invested is because what a lot of managers at the upper level do not realize is that at the very bottom rung of a corporation, sometimes when you get that engaged, you're taking a risk. You're risking people saying, oh, you're brown-nosing, or you're just trying to butter up management. And truly, that was not my intention. It was strictly to develop and deliver gifts. So I went to all this work, and I put together a presentation, and afterwards, I had employees not making fun of me, not mocking me, but saying that was the best safety presentation we've ever seen. They thoroughly enjoyed it, they had a good time, and I just felt this pride and this excitement about achieving something more. Now, here's the checklist part where it comes in. You see, I really wanted management to notice, and at that time I didn't understand empowerment. And what I got was, good job, thank you for participating. Check, mark it off the list. And that's where I came up with the idea that engagement is not a checklist, because truly the boss-employee relationship depending on the different levels, it's very parallel to the parent-child relationship in that we always look to those with higher authority to give us feedback and to give us acknowledgement, and it was simply seen as a checklist. So one thing that I'm talking about in my next book that's all about enlightened leadership and seeing things from a higher perspective is that we have to start leading from a place of supervision versus supervision. So we have to see for employees what they cannot see for themselves. Well, because of my journey of reinvention, I see things from various perspectives, and that's part of strategic communication, is be able to look at all different perspectives. And so I often say that the owner or the shareholder, they just want to get to the treasure chest on the island. And the leader or the manager, they just want everyone to row harder and faster. And the employees or the rowers, they just want a better seat cushion on the boat. So people will ask me, well, what if you don't have a personal brand? Or what if you don't know what it is? That's where we can offer a lot of development in the corporation, because we really all do have a personal brand, whether we know it or not. It's either conscious or unconscious, it's either developed or underdeveloped. And the reason I know this is because of my own unique journey of going from factory floor to now professional speaker, author, and consultant. And I developed a personal brand very consciously, even while I was still at the factory. And how that occurred to me was that I realized that, you know, as Marshall Goldsmith would say, what got you here won't get you there. And I decided that I was going to be committed to improving communication and relationships everywhere. And that was an acronym, ICARE, Improving Communication and Relationships Everywhere. And because I was studying communication in college, and because I had a vision of where I wanted to go, I thought it would be easy. And so I was practicing my communication skills, but I actually found it to be difficult. And here's why. When you first have an awareness or a vision, you're going from point A to point B. And so awareness is first, and then aversion is second. And the reason there's aversion is because there's a gap. There's a gap in where you are versus where you want to be. And I started seeing all of my flaws. I started seeing that, you know, I was sarcastic. I used sarcasm as a way to defend myself sometimes. I rolled my eyes when I didn't agree with someone. I could be very discounting to people. And I started going inward and really having that sense of awareness. And I realized that I was not improving communication and relationships everywhere. I was doing it only when it was convenient. When I really discovered this profound truth was when a very good friend of mine confronted me. We had had a discussion that turned into an argument. I rolled my eyes, I discounted her, and I said something a bit sarcastic. And she blew up and she said, "You think you know so much, you think you're this," and we got into a little tiff, and I spent a lot of time trying to prove her wrong. In fact, I was trying to get that social proof. Well, what do you think? Well, don't you think she's too sensitive? And so on. And then a very, very enlightened question was asked of me, because you see, an unenlightened question is who's wrong and who's to blame. And a friend of mine said, well, here's the question. Does rolling your eyes and using sarcasm help you to improve communication and relationships everywhere? And that really hit me, and I realized that it didn't, and that was a habit and a group of habits that I had to change. And so now my message is that it's never about perfection, but it is about course correction. And I believe that the real journey of enlightened leadership is all about alignment, and that means walking your talk. And thankfully, I've been on that journey, and I get lots of opportunities to course correct all the time. When we shift the way we view communication, and instead of seeing it as touchy-feely and soft skills and nice to have, but we really don't provide training in that area, when we switch that to seeing communication as a strategy, it changes everything. Now, the three components of communication as a strategy is that, first of all, you have to know your end result. You have to know what you want. The second component is you have to understand all the shareholders, the various the stakeholders in the situation, from your employees, your managers, everybody at every level. When you understand where they're coming from, that's point number two. And number three, your communication, whether that's the way you advertise, whether that's the way you speak interpersonally, it communicates that you communicate from your highest and best, from your own personal brand and in alignment with the company brand. Now, the reason it has to be in that order is because if you're not clear on your outcome first, then any wind will sway you. And then it can turn into people-pleasing or manipulative communication, and I see that all the time. And if you're not communicating to the highest and best of your brand, you're going to give mixed messages. It's going to be really confusing, and it's going to hurt your brand eventually. People that buy Stop Workplace Drama are always so excited that I'm speaking their language, because it's not just about the workplace. The title can be a bit deceptive. There's plenty of examples that are universal, and I think that's why so many people are resonating with it. The drama you have in your personal life is going to show up in your professional life. In fact, there's a tool in there that is called the Cartman Drama Triangle that illustrates the different orientations that we can get into when the communication dynamics are becoming dysfunctional. So it's not just about the workplace, it's about who you are as a person. There's a whole section on reinvent and realign. There's a whole section on stopping relationship drama, on mastering your energy. So the concepts in the book are very universal, and I'm known for bringing both the personal life and the professional life into the presentations, and I think that's why people are resonating, because it's real, it's not academic, it's not necessarily corporate, but it's real life. The most important thing I've learned about myself is that there is unlimited potential if I'll just see it the right way. Whatever's going on for you may really appear to be the shark. I call drama the shark in this body of work. And when you're in the boat and you see the shark, you just want it to stop. But after you've learned whatever you needed to learn, it can truly become an enlightened, an elevated viewpoint to where what was once the shark is now the stepping stone onto a bridge of enlightenment. And what that means is you're looking down on a situation and you're seeing the lesson, you're seeing what you learned, and you're out of resistance. And from that place, you can coach other people because you've been there. And so I love this work because I've been at the lowest level. I've risen to a fairly high level in my own career and continuing to grow. And I can help people at all different levels see things differently and see from a place of supervision versus supervision. I love this work because it's transformational, and it challenges me to live to the principles that I talk about. And you know, I always say that leadership is truly about alignment, and I can have a concept or an idea, or I can help coach someone else, and then I'll see where I am short in that area as well. And sometimes I'll tell my coaching clients, I'll say, I'm just the big bald man telling you to jump off of the balance beam. You're Nadia, and I'm just the coach. So sometimes as a coach, we can see things for others that they can't see for themselves. And as we become the observer of what they're doing that's ineffective, we can then make transformational change in our own lives. And so I love the work not only in the way that I'm able to provide value for other people and for corporations, but also in how it's transforming me, one who was a factory worker at the blue collar level, to a person now with a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, a commercial book, a self-published book, and more on the way, and opening the field of possibility for myself and others. That's why I love it.